الحمد لله الحمد لله نحمده ونشكره نستعين به جل وعلا نستهديه ونستغفره نعوذ به سبحانه وتعالى من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهدي الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له إن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله تعالى وخير الهدي عليه وآله وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده صدق وعده ونصر عبده وأعز جنده معهم برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. عباد الله، أنصحكم ونفسي الآثمة بتقوى الله، أحثكم وإياها على طاعته، أحذركم وإياها وبال مخالفته ومعصيته، وأستفتح بالذي هو خير. أما بعد، يقول ربنا عز وجل بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم: من يعمل مثقال ذرة خيرا Sometimes you want to question or say, how come, why did Allah Azza wa Jal says yara? Why doesn't He just say it will be accountable? It'll be written, it'll be recorded. No. Because you see, even those who do evil, number one, they don't like for evil to be done on them. They don't want to treat themselves like they treat others. Number two, they don't want to see the evil they have done. But Al-Quran Al-Kareem tells us that in both aspects they're wrong, and they shall see it. They shall see it there, they shall see its ramification on them, and they shall also pay for it. That's part of Iman. The question has been now for a while, or from the beginning really, to be honest with you, about the whole thing of religiosity. Yani if God is all merciful, and a loving God, and a just God, why is there corona? Today we've had what? The numbers are, according to many government officials, obviously, the numbers are increasing back, spikes are going up. The numbers of infections worldwide has reached 10 million people, almost, nudging there at least. The numbers of mortalities, nudging at 500,000 people. Within just 2-3 months, 500,000 people have gone, assumingly because of, as a result to this thing that is a pandemic, a virus, a single-stranded RNA virus that the eye cannot really see, and governments and countries have changed directions, done all kinds of things, stimulus packages here, other places, etc. And now the numbers are going up, and there's like these, sometimes these warnings that things are going to get even worse and worse and worse. And you all know what the news is saying, and obviously it's this kind of fact is echoed in the Quran. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وَاتَّقُوا فِتْنَةً لَا تُصِيبَنَّ الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا مِنْكُمْ خَاصَّةً. Be careful of an evil that you witnessed, that you may be part of. You may have not directly been the causer behind it, But you were sort of on the periphery. And the Quran says, but be careful, don't think that you may be saved from that. They're saying, obviously, it's affecting. Now they're saying the recent spikes in infections are actually young people. Remember in the old, old 3 months. Because nowadays, old is relative. I mean, with Corona, you don't know how old things are now is all relative. 3 months ago, they said only the immunocompromised and the elderly. And now they're saying also it's the younger people and the younger crowds and all that. The question comes back to the question of why does Allah Azza wa Jal, why does God, to people who don't understand the word Allah Azza wa Jal to mean obviously the creator of all, why does He allow for things like that to happen? Tsunamis to come over and take out villages entirely. Wars that we're still today, I mean, sure, unfortunately the pandemic has claimed almost 500,000 people. Wars in this past century have claimed a lot more. Millions and millions and millions of people, starting from the First World War to the Second World War and all the other mini third world wars that were happening and are still happening. And, people are still suffering because of this. First of all, we need to eliminate the information factor, because oftentimes people confound thinking if we knew, we wouldn't. This is a satanic sort of shaitani element. Why? Shaitan knew the truth. Information he had. He didn't have the will or the transformation that he wants to change. And we all in the world today know that if our resources that we have on this planet suffice all people, we know that, but people are still dying of starvation. We know today that our knowledge and our resources and our wealth suffices to treat all people who are suffering from different kinds of things, children who are dying from different kinds of things. Remember a few years ago, we were part of this eradicate malaria with Medina in Africa. You're just part of it, right? And the world has the capacity to actually eradicate, if you want, many other diseases or many other infections that are happening to small kids or others. We have the means and we have the information. The will is not there. Be careful to confuse information with actually applied transformation. They're two different things. We know lots of things that we don't do. And that's exactly what a shaitan, or that's what a devil, that's what a shaitani path is, thinking that knowledge makes or solves all the problems. Knowledge has not solved the problems. In fact, oftentimes we've misused knowledge to cause even further evil and mayhem and confusion, to light fires and cause destruction much more than without this alleged knowledge. But one can say, then what is life then? I mean, how come the unjust, so quote unquote, prospers and the suffering is in pain? What kind of world is this? And as you all know, this was the beginning of the post-illumination factor in Europe, or era, right? I mean, after what's called the illumination or so in Europe, what that basically meant is the separation from church entirely. Europeans do not want to have anything to do with the church. And they blamed everything evil on God. They said, since we're having all these things that are happening, God is responsible. And you say there's God, and He's in control. Guess who's responsible for all that evil? He is. And therefore, since it is Him, we don't want to believe in Him. Part of the, obviously, misrepresentation and mischaracterization of God, or the attributes of God anyway. Because they pictured God as well, depicted God as the one who for a slight theological dispute would eradicate and kill and just because of that whole populations and children and their oxes as well and their cows as well and everything, and gruesome pictures. You know, your feet are in the swimming covered in the blood of your foes, simply just because of a small, let's say maybe theological argument or disagreement or so. And that kind of thing, in the post-illumination sort of era, they figured, you know, if this is the kind of God it is, who actually, heavens is waiting to smell the frying, or not the frying, astaghfirullah, yani, meaning the burning of the flesh of those people. Following these kinds of shaitani things. And that's what they think. So you have now, you got Nietzsche's Nothingness, or the Death of God, as he called it in his book. I've spent $95 getting that book. I still regret it. It's, you know, because I couldn't find it anywhere else. Allah help me. May Allah forgive me. Then you see Sartre's also meaninglessness. The whole thing is basically meaningless. You see Albert Camus also, predestinarianism in what everything, that's how it meant to be. You see then obviously others, you see John Hicks, for example, when he says that, which basically means, I don't want to quote, he says the whole reason that people went anti-religion is because of all these things, how they're depicting, how God is depicted, how things are depicted, how also obviously you add that to the religious, those who call the religious, especially nowadays, we have religious, we have a new dimension where there is no need for track record anymore. There is no need for struggle and working grassroots with the community anymore. There is no need for proven anything. All you have to do is pick up some nice eloquent words and post them on social media. I mean, that's how you become, you know, basically marketing, not the fact, not the reality. If you market something, no matter how bad it is, it sells. The reality doesn't really matter. That's another thing, obviously, that, I mean, the whole issues of these Arab Spring that happened and all these violent things were largely media presentation of the picture anyway. Right, wrong, whatever it is, but that was the fourth power, they used to say, after military powers and all these things, that actually wars are won today through media. And that's why you see also in the political schemes everywhere, media wars, really, literally, you have, it's sort of, it's only short, I mean, bullets are there, meaning media bullets. It's just short of actual fight, that's all. But it's more vicious than actual fights, because it's played out there. The same thing, obviously, evangelizing Islam as well, in the sense of, you know, making it's feel good. Today also, we've changed our masajid into, let's just forget about what the religion says. Now, you talk Quran and Sunnah and Hadith. Come on, man. Let me tell you how I feel. That's feeling. Feeling, I respect, I love your feelings, man. I would like you to all feel good. But we need to also look at the basics of the book and the Sunnah and see where we are versus where it wants us to be. Because if we're a community of faith, there needs to be a synchronization, or at least an understanding, a standard, that this is what is expected from us. And it's a non-selective approach, but it's a comprehensive approach, because the book and the Sunnah have not left us with just selectivity of here and there. The question of evil comes back over and over and over and over and over. If there is God, how come there's evil? If there's this, how come that? It all, obviously in Islam, it comes back to the basic premise that Islam tells us. And maybe in non-Islamic literature, they call it the freedom factor. And the freedom factor, in maybe our Islamic literature, maybe we can call it the enablement of choice. That Allah enabled you to actually make a choice. And that, يعني التمكين من الاختيار, Now that enablement in the human being, as Muslims believe it, is not sovereign. At least as Ahl Sunnah believe it. It's not sovereign, meaning you don't own it. You are enabled. Originally you are disabled. You are a helpless human being, a helpless creation. The Creator enabled you to make choices. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Allah tells us, وَنَفْسٍ وَمَا سَوَّاهَا فَأَلْهَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا وَقَدْ خَابَ مَنْ دَسَّاهَا. Successful is the one who purifies and refines themselves. And loser, Al-Quran tells us, is the one who doesn't. But Allah tells us, النفس وما سواها, He created the nafs and He enabled the nafs. ألهمها فجور, it can be wicked and vile, or taqwaha, it can be really pious and refined. What you do, what we do. With this enablement of choice Allah gave human beings. Now notice, the Creator subhanahu wa ta'ala did not just give the human beings the enablement to do good or bad. No. But He also sent them messages and sent them messengers and also showed them signs in their own individual, sometimes private lives, sometimes in other things. Continuous signs come to people. But anyway, at least you can say Allah sent messengers and sent with them messages and did not just leave you at the bare ability to make a choice, good or evil. But actually told you, مَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَى وَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ شَرًّا يَرَى. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. وَافْعَلُوا الْخَيْرِ لَعَلَّكُمْ تُفْلِحُونَ. If you have a choice between good and evil, that's not really a choice. Al-Quran tells you good and evil are not a choice. افْعَلُوا الْخَيْرِ, do good. This way you may be successful if you do good. ادفع بالتي هي لا تستوي الحسنة ولا السيئة. Al-Quran tells us evil and good are never the same. Repel that which is evil, not with that which is good, with that which is better than just good. Allah did not say ادفع لا تستوي الحسنة والسيئة, ادفع بالذي هو حسن. Repel that which is evil with that which is good. ادفع بالتي هي أحسن, even better. The only way, as if the Quran is telling us, the only way to repel evil is to actually do much better. Let alone do equally or good on the same level, let alone to stoop down to the level of evil. As if the Quran is telling us this whole dimension. First of all, we need to understand, Islam did not promise anybody Jannah on this earth. Islam always said what? Al-akhirah, ad-dar al-akhirah. تلك الدار الآخرة نجعلها للذين لا يريدون في الأرض علوا ولا فسادا. Allah says, which means we shall give ad-dar al-akhirah to those who do not seek evil on earth and corruption. وَالْعَاقِبَ لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. And that end are for those who are conscientious of God. Al-muttaqeen, yani conscientious. They live with Allah. They know what they're doing, that it's a right choice versus an evil choice, for example. There's another life. What did He tell us about this life? He told us, إِنَّمَا الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا لَعِبٌ وَلَهْوٌ وَتَكَاثُرٌ وَتَفَاخُرٌ, all these things. Told us this life is about people play, people increase, takathur, increase things. More money, more power, more, right? More. That's takathur. I want to have more in everything. It makes no difference. More. Okay. What are you, how? Okay, so carry. So as like we've always given that parable, you're in a playground. It has only one entrance and one exit. That's it. You're born and then you die. And both entrances or exits, both doors, you're not allowed to bring anything or take out anything with you. Nothing. In the middle here, the playground, carry all. You want to dig down? Dig. You want to carry stones? Carry. You want to carry the whole thing? Carry as much as you can. Once you get to the door of the exit, you have to leave everything behind, including your own clothing. Carry. Well, You have the time. You're on a timer's running. The timer is there on the clock. You watch the time, tick, tick, it's running. You will reap what you do irrespective of anything. Al-Islam did not tell us that we can make this playground Jannah. You have the wrong address, son. If you think this is Jannah. No, 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 no. إِنَّمَا الْحَيَاةُ عَقِيدَةٌ وَجِهَادٌ. Al-Haya is actually about principles and struggle. That's what it is. The principles that the human being carries within them, the values, the virtues that this human being, that makes this human being, the actual decency in that inside of that human being that keeps him. That's the aqidah that we're talking about. These principles, this thing that makes the human being noble, that makes the human being, that makes Adam much more higher than Iblis, than Shaitan. Distinguishing and also struggle in that. That's what also makes all that. The struggle to, because yes, the Quran did tell us, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, ظهر الفساد في البر والبحر. Evil has surfaced on land and in the sea. بما كسبت أيدي الناس. By the misuse of the enablement of choice that people do, they make wrong choices. One of the reasons that, obviously, not all, it's a bit more complex. Just Allah Ta'ala has given us enablement, or given me, He's given him, He's given him, He's given him, He's given him. There are lots of enablement. And maybe the order of the universe is to be discovered, because the Creator did give us water. And with water we have what? We have flowers growing, we have trees, we have the agriculture, we have vegetables, we have fruits, and we have nice streams that are going, and it's beautiful. But also told us that water has another side in what it is enabled to do. Tsunamis, floods, other things as well. For the Creator to give human beings the ability only to do good and strip them from the ability to actually do good or evil, well, that brings us back to the whole question of Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, الَّذِي خَلَقَ الْمَوْتَ وَالْحَيَاةَ لِيَبْلُوَكُمْ. He created death and life as a test. Everything is a test. This whole dimension that's short, whatever life it is, it's a test. Eventually, once that is done, that's where the everlasting life. That's what Islam did not promise us a life here that's pain-free, that's struggle-free, that is problem-free. No, no. But Islam equipped us with a roadmap. Look, there's going to be problems. There's the good, the bad, and the ugly in every society. But your job is to be with the good and to try to actually neutralize evil as much as you can. That's your job. To try to make this a better world. That was the prophetic wish. That was the prophetic will of all the prophets, from Abraham and before Abraham, to Moses, to Jesus, and to Muhammad alayhimus salatu wassalam. Their whole message, if you can summarize it in a couple of words, was a wish for a better world for all, not just for them. Hence, the Creator, subhanahu wa ta'ala, God, Allah, who created us, enabled us to disbelieve in Him. وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وقل الحق من ربكم فمن شاء فليؤمن ومن شاء فليكفر. You want to believe, believe. You don't want to believe, don't believe. That's your test. You want to do good, that's what you're supposed to be doing. You don't want to do good, you're going to be a yara. You will see it. And that's the beauty of faith, because if faith is not a choice, it's no longer faith. If Iman is not a choice, it's no longer Iman. And if the Creator was to allow us only to do good and strip us from the power to do wrong or do evil, well, that's mechanical coercion. I can't do anything except one thing. It's a robot. That's not how it works. Therefore, the question of why is there evil? It's a long question. What do we do with evil? What's our job with evil? Our job is to contribute positively to self and to our community and our surrounding. That's the job, to reform self and try to bring positive reinforcement and positive support and positive contribution to others. But also, you see, while Islam does not make other things reasons for that evil happens or wrong things happen, it tells us there are many ways we can benefit, as bad as it sounds, maybe, benefit from evil, to make evil an opportunity to do good, to turn it into an opportunity to do good. As if it is the story of our father Adam, and his perfection was not in not choosing the wrong choice. Right? Like the angels, let's say. The angels, لا يعصون الله ما أمرهم ويفعلون ما يؤمرون. Angels they do what they're told. But what did Adam do, our father? The father of all humanity, with all its ethnicities or quote-unquote races. Right? Because in Islam teaches us one thing, that we may be different colors, different backgrounds, different ethnicities, but at the end of the day, we are one people. Our father is Adam. So that's where we belong. Congratulations. I mean, there you go. You know. They asked, sometimes it's a basic thing, 1 + 1 = 2, but sometimes even these things sometimes we don't seem to get them. I mean, you know. Anyway. But Adam, Allah says, فَعَصَى آدَمُ وَعَصَى آدَمُ رَبَّهُ فَغَوَى. Adam did not choose the best choice when he was told not to, let's say, eat from the tree. But what was the perfection of Adam alayhi salam, the path of perfection? Was it not to actually go through the challenge, or was it to go through the challenge and then take that challenge as an opportunity to do better? It was the perfection of Adam alayhi salam is after he was faced with that challenge that he actually improves. That's the way we actually go and turn this into an opportunity. Absolutely, it's pain, and one soul in pain or one nafs in pain is one nafs too many. That's for sure. But it's an opportunity for everyone also to actually do something about it, and not just to sit and not do anything. And that's also our test. And if we don't do something about meaning, if we lose the ability to identify with the suffering of any life, not just a human life, a plant's life and an animal life and the planet's life, if we lose that measurement to identify with the suffering of any life, then we haven't just betrayed our faith, but we failed the test of our time. And that's something we have to understand as part of the community of faith here in America. All right. Another thing also that may help, again, I'm not saying that's the purpose of evil, but I'm saying the presence of evil, the inevitable presence of evil due to the freedom of choice, if you want to say, or the enablement of choice, is also able, it sort of makes clear to the colorblind, if you may say, or to the blind, it makes clear the separation. It gives a contrast. You appreciate truthfulness also when you abhor lies. There's appreciation for that. You appreciate amana, trustworthiness, when there's khiyana, treachery. It gives... I'm not saying that's the purpose. That's not the purpose, obviously. Nor is it part of that. But that's an aspect that one can also take and learn from as well. And maybe also, again, not as a purpose, but the presence of, the inevitable presence of evil gives us also the opportunity to do what? If you focus on it on a macro level, or on a micro level, sorry, you might, it's like focusing on a painting. And if you take it all the way to a micro level, you might see just blotches of paint on a painting. Maybe if you step back and look at it, may look actually good overall. Again, this is not a purpose, nor am I saying that constructive ends justify destructive means. That's not Islamic, that's not Abrahamic, that's probably satanic or opportunistic. It's got nothing to do with faith. Means ought to be proper, and also the objectives ought to be proper. That's just how things are. But it is because you see that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us gives the opportunity, like I said, that when we see something, it gives something that's not right, it gives us the opportunity to do more. Today in our communities with this COVID that we've been plagued with now for the past few months, right? Alhamdulillah, now we're able to gather for a few months. Everything was closed. All right. But with this, what do? There's lots of things we can still do other than prayers. Sure, we're praying. That's praying is good. But what else are we doing? All right, I'm following the CDC guidelines and the government guidelines. Good, and that ought to be followed. What else can we do also? There ought to be other things that we can do in this time. In this time of uncertainty for many people, spiritually, psychologically, socially, economically, politically, and in many other ways. It's really time of uncertainty. And communities of faith ought to be positive contributors to all that. Concept of 5, right? Remember 5? We say 5 things. 5 is always good. The concept of 5, we taught that in Aqidah, for those of you who remember the concept of 5 in Aqidah. But anyway, we used to go to work every day and come back every day from work. How much we used to put gas? $5 at least. Give. Today you have an opportunity. You're not going to work anymore. And even the least fortunate amongst us can still afford a 5. Give 5. I'm not saying give it here. Give it wherever you want. But you used to consume that. Give it. Contribute with it. Change. I know it's not much, but still it can help. 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 can make lots of 5s. And that can make a difference. And also give 5, not just in giving $5 as a donation, let's say for charity. You've got charities, those who are looking for kids. No kid goes hungry. Food banks are in shortage for the first time. Or not first time, but I mean they're in shortage. There are people, believe you all know, don't have food. Meals on wheels to give this for the elderly. Something that our community has been doing on an individual basis, sometimes on small group basis. Maybe we need to take that further. Give that 5. You used to use it in gas. You used to use it in other things. You're not using it anymore. You still have some. Share. Sharing is caring. But not just give 5 in the $5. Give 5 like that. I mean, you don't have to do the 5. Just raise your 5. Say hi to your neighbors. And there are many people who just want to see, even if you don't know them. You driving by, raise your hand. It's important to increase that warmth, that humanity we used to have as human beings together. Before the era of the tech, where we sit on a table and everyone is looking at their iPhone or Android, whatever it is, right? Boy, remember the old days when people sat on a dinner table and they actually conversed and they had, nice family time and they were talking and all that, which is obviously was robbed by electronics eventually. Not against electronics here. But it's nice to say hi. It's nice to give 5, sort of an air 5. Give 5 to those who you know and give 5 to those who you don't know. It brings that warmth again. At the end of the day, we're all together in this. If anything happens, you see this pandemic does not really discriminate, though we do. People do, meaning. But pandemics don't care who you are in a sense. They just, whatever is in front of them, they just take, right? So that's very important. The other thing as well that I want to say, it's important to look at these small businesses around you, whether it's in your neighborhood, whether it's where you work. People are suffering. I know we all used to go and dine, right? Especially after Salah, we used to go and dine. Maybe today we can't dine. Order from the restaurant. That's a family-run business, a small business, because small businesses are suffering most. Order from them and dine in. You don't have to go there. Just this way you keep them also helping. Again, if your neighbor is good, you're good. Isn't that what faith teaches us? If everything is good, your neighborhood is good, you're good. It's important in this time to actually do better than just sit and wait. Sitting and waiting is not an option in any times where there's calamity or where there's difficulty befalling people. Right? And with this, I want to end this with saying like this. Remember, that the issue of evil happening, inevitable evil, obviously because when after the Illumination era, they said, all right, forget about God, there's no God and nothing, let's just make this a perfect human thing. Right? We'll make sure we reduce evil and pain and wars and all this. Well, after that's when we had all the world wars. So now that's why you have, and I forgot her name, a professor at University of Oklahoma, philosophy, Linda Zagabsky, something like, Zagabsky maybe, something like that, saying, and I'm paraphrasing again, it's been a while, that really there's a frustration in a sense that God was taken out of the picture because he was responsible for all evil happening, and he's in control and he couldn't do anything to stop it. And now the human beings thought they're going to make that system that's perfect by eliminating spirituality out, religiosity out, and all these things out. And then, but we still ended up with lots of pain and suffering and wars and calamities and man-made. And it turns out the problem may not necessarily be a religious tradition. Maybe the greed, the envy, the lust for power and wealth. But in order to sanitize these self-serving emotions, we usually cloak them in religious rhetoric. It sells best. And that's why the Quran says, مَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَى وَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ شَرًّا يَرَى. Whoever does an atom worth of good shall see it, and whoever does an atom worth of evil shall see it. And that's the role, that's the whole point. It's telling us, look, it's inevitable in front of you, and that's a call to action. So Allah Ta'ala bless all of you. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله. الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا كما أمر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له إرغاما لمن جحد به وكفر. أشهد أن سيدنا محمدا صلى الله عليه وسلم الشفيع المشفع في المحشر. صلى اللهم عليه وعلى آله على الفقه والنظر والعلم والأثر وعلى من بآثاره مقتفى واهتدى واعتبر. عباد الله اتقوا الله العظيم حق تقواه، راقبوه مراقبة من يعلم ويعتقد بأنه يرى. تزودوا لدنياكم من دنياكم لآخرتكم عملا يحبه ويرضى. اعلموا أنه لا يضر وينفع ويعطي ويمنع ويصل ويقطع ويخفض ويرفع إلا الله. واعلموا أن الله تعالى أمركم بأمر بدأ فيه بنفسه وثنى بملائكة قدسه. قال تعالى ولم يزل قائلا عليما إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم. بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وآل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين، أعلي مولانا كلمة الحق والدين. اللهم من أراد بالإسلام والمسلمين خيرا فوفقه إليه، من أراد بهم غير ذلك فاهده يا ربنا سواء السبيل، واكفنا شره وضره يا رب العالمين. آت أنفسنا تقواها، زكها أنت خير من زكاها، أنت وليها ومولاها. اشف اللهم مرضانا، عاف مبتلانا، فك أسرانا، ارحم موتانا، اغفر لهم لنا ولوالدينا مشايخنا ومن له حق علينا. Ya Allah, all of us who gathered in this blessed house of yours, in this blessed day of yours, in this blessed hour of yours, and in this blessed time of yours, grant us all forgiveness and grant us all your mercies and all the people. Ya Allah, in this day today there are still many people who are suffering, many of your creation who are suffering because of this pandemic and many other things that have to do with it or not, whether it's economical or psychological or spiritual or many other things. Ya Allah, turn every disease into ease, Ya Allah. With your mercy, Ya Rabbal Alameen, guide and bless this country and all the countries all over the world, and guide and bless all humanity, Ya Rabbal Alameen. Ya Allah, show us the way to happiness and ease, and make things easy for us as we take this faith to conquer fear, Ya Rabbal Alameen. Ya Allah, bless our parents and our grandparents and our great-grandparents for whatever they have done. Ease, if they have any difficulties in this next abode, make it easy for them. Raise their status and level, and grant them illumination and Jannatul Firdaus, Ya Rabbal Alameen. And Ya Allah, our children and our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren until Qiyamah, keep the light of faith in their hearts and in their eyes and in their minds and in what they do, and make them salihin, muslihin, Ya Rabbal Alameen. Good people to themselves and good people to society, Ya Rabbal Alameen. Not only salihin, but muslihin, Ya Rabbal Alameen. Ya Allah, ارحم المسلمين والمسلمات والمؤمنين والمؤمنات الأحياء منهم والأموات، إنك يا ربنا سميع قريب مجيب للدعوات. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين، وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله. أقم الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح. قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
استووا. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، الرحمن الرحيم، مالك يوم الدين، إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين، اهدنا الصراط المستقيم، صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والضحى والليل إذا سجى ما ودعك ربك وما قلى وللآخرة خير لك من الأولى ولسوف يعطيك ربك فترضى. ألم يجدك يتيما فآوى ووجدك ضالا فهدى ووجدك عائلا فأغنى فأما اليتيم فلا تقهر وأما السائل فلا تنهر وأما بنعمة ربك فحدث. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، الرحمن الرحيم، مالك يوم الدين، إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين، اهدنا الصراط المستقيم، صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألم نشرح لك صدرك ووضعنا عنك وزرك الذي أنقض قضى ظهرك ورفعنا لك ذكرك فإن مع العسر يسرا إن مع العسر يسرا فإذا فرغت فانصب وإلى ربك فارغب. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.